Fortunately, Speaker, you will note that this question is from 4th of March 2025. And the reason why it's being brought to the floor 9 months later is that we have been unable to secure the attendance of the CS. No wonder he has 21 questions to respond to. But I'll proceed, Honorable CS, Honorable Speaker. Could the Cabinet Secretary state why police officers traveling across the country to Nairobi County for the National Police Service Promotion Board interviews are never facilitated with transport and accommodation, despite the interviews being part of the official duties? Secondly, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the reasons for the delay in the release of the results of the National Police Service Promotion Board interviews conducted in Nairobi between the 10th and 14th of February 2025? And lastly, was ethnic balance and the length of service considered during the promotion interviews held in February of 2025? And could the CS state all the measures taken to ensure fairness in the process? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know I agree with the Senator Sifuna that we have been unable to answer these questions, but it was not by desire. The last time I appeared before this House to answer the questions, there was a matter of great concern at that particular time, and we spent the whole day here in this same chamber. Then we could not go to these questions. The second time, Mr. Speaker, there was some security unfortunate incidences that happened, and then recess and so forth. So it was not because of not my liking to come here. I really like coming here. Just that sometimes this is like Job's headquarters, Mr. Speaker. You are sitting in the office and then something happens. Mr. Speaker, on question 1, let me not read the questions again so that to save time. Promotion board interviews are considered official duty, and as such, officers attending these interviews are entitled to per diem allowances and transport facilitation. These are to be provided through their immediate supervisors, who are the designated holders of authority to incur expenditure, otherwise famously known as AIE in short. However, the disbursement of AIEs to field commander station of transport. As a result, many officers have been compelled to make personal transport arrangements to attend these important career advancement opportunities. To address these persistent challenges, the Ministry is actively engaging with the National Treasury to streamline and prioritize the disbursement of exchequer to ensure that all operational and welfare-related financial obligations are met in a timely and predictable manner. Additionally, the Ministry is collaborating with the National Police Service leadership in collaboration with National Police leadership has initiated a fleet improvement plan aimed at progressively equipping stations and posts with functional transport assets. These reforms are aligned with the recommendations of the 2023-2024 Police Reform and Prisons Service Reform Task Force, which called for enhanced logistical support, decentralization of operational resources, and a robust welfare framework for all the officers. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, everywhere I went through Jukwaa la Usalama, AIE is a matter of concern. Resource disbursement to the various police stations so that they can have money to facilitate the officers when they come for this is a matter of great concern. However, in addition to what I have said, the officer will claim this transport in the fullness of time because they are entitled to. And as long as the resources are availed, they will be paid in due course. Reasons for the delay in release of results of the National Police Service Board interviews conducted in Nairobi between 10th and 14th November 2025. Mr. Speaker, the promotion process within the National Police Service begins with the identification and allocation of vacancies across various ranks of the National Police at the National Police Headquarters. Following this, the Inspector General instructs this respective service to convene promotion boards and submit lists of successful candidates. The interviews process is structured into 5 progressive levels designed to ensure transparency, fairness, and distribution of opportunities down to the lowest police units. At the conclusion of each level, candidates are interviewed and ranked. Those who attain the highest scores are notified to proceed to the next level, while others are encouraged to reapply in future exercise. Only the final list of successful candidates who are not required to undergo further interviews is submitted to the Inspector General based on merit and performance. This multi-tiered process may result in perceived delays, but it's necessary to uphold meritocracy and fairness in full compliance with Chapter 34 of the National Police Service Standing Orders. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry wishes to assure the House that the promotion interviews held on February 2025 were concluded on strict compliance with the policies and guidelines outlined in the Chapter 34 of the National Police Service Standing Orders. The process incorporated key selection criteria, including ethics, ethnic and regional balance, affirmative action, individual performance, and appraisal records, length of service, successful completion of police law examination and promotion courses, and the maintenance of a clean and satisfactory disciplinary record. These measures were implemented to ensure inclusivity, meritocracy, and fairness in the allocation of the available promotion slots. Honorable Speaker, the welfare, morale, and career progression of officers remain a priority in the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. We shall continue to take necessary steps to ensure the promotion process are not only fair and inclusive, but also timely and well supported. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Sifuna, do you have any supplementary question?
Yes, Speaker, you realize that the response that the CS is reading is from April.
Yes.
April of 2025. We are now in November. My expectation would be that you would give us an updated status, the current status. For instance, Honorable Speaker, you tell us, CS, have the reimbursements now been paid to the officers who attended interviews in February using their own resources, number one? Has the report on those interviews now been released? I mean, Speaker, this is how many months down the line? From April to now is almost 7 months. That is the expectation we have today. He cannot just read what he sent us in April. So let him tell us, are the results of the interviews out? Have the officers been reimbursed for the expenses they incurred in this? Are there any pending payments? And lastly, Honorable Speaker, on ethnic composition, it would be very nice if the CS gave this House a breakdown of the ethnic makeup of the upper echelons of the police force. I thank you.
CS, maybe you can give that clarification.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. For the promotion, it was done, and the officers are already in the, for the lower ranks of police officers like corporals and sergeants, they completed the training. So they have already been promoted. You see, all of them go to promotional courses. At the higher ranks, they are still in various training centers. They are going through their training. It is important for the Senator, which I think we did not provide in the statement, to know that it was not everywhere that AIEs were not facilitated. It was based on the budget of every different police station. So it was not general to every place. And I would require to engage the National Police Service again to confirm if after they have left their training course, as they go to their promotion stations, as they get also higher salary, whether it is accompanied by their transport allowance. On the question of composition of police officers senior ranks, that should be a straightforward question. It's also available in public domain, but I should be able to share maybe from commissioners to go up, you know, who are people occupying these positions across the country. That is a public knowledge, but we can submit it as a supplementary statement later, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
You know, because of time, Honorable Senators, I think if we go by this list on my board here, it will take a lot of time. So maybe I'm very much constrained to ask Senator Sifuna to ask a second question. Unless if it is on the promotion, the interviews, specifically. Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My supplementary question to the CS is it true that the officers who have been promoted 2 ranks within 6 months on merit, is it also true that there are ranks beyond which an officer should not be promoted on merit, and they have been promoted on merit?
Second one. I missed the second.
Sorry, repeat.
My question is, Honorable Speaker, to the CS is, Is it true that there are officers within the ranks who have been promoted on merit twice within 6 months? And also whether senior officers have been promoted on merit on ranks ordinarily you cannot be promoted on merit? Thank you.
Just a minute. CS, let's get two more. Senator Gataya Mufaya.
One would be interested to know whether there is any promotion policy in the National Police Service. Most Honorable Speaker, you find that somebody has just joined the police force. Tomorrow he is an inspector. Somebody has been maintaining there for the last 10 years and has not been promoted. So what, do you have any policy to guide on the promotion to police officers? There are quite a number of discontents within the force. That maybe there's some people who are clinging on corruption and political brokers here and there to get promotions.
You have asked your question, and also it says you should also know that you are a former police officer. Yeah, maybe did not get the promotion then. So answer those two questions, then we make progress, kindly.
Am I in order, Mr. Speaker, to request Senator Mofaya to disclose the rank which he retired and how he ended up being there? Mr. Speaker, that's on a light note. Mr. Speaker, on the promotion, I agree first with Senator Mofaya. Before I answer Senator Mandago's question, during the Jukwaa la Usalama, these issues were raised by police officers directly, OCSs and the officers that we were in the forum together. And there was a concern that some people, it takes 30 years and they've never been promoted. Others, as you've said, takes 6-7 years, they are promoted. And so the police service requires a promotion policy. And the conclusion of the Jukwaa la Usalama report is that they need to be clarity on promotion policy, that people know if they attain certain number of years and they do not have in their file any criminal record or whatever bad record, and they are diligent in their work, then there should be motivation by ensuring that there's clarity on exactly how do you get promoted. The other issue that Senator Mandago has raised came up also during the discussion, that is, can you allow people at certain ranks to be promoted without going to do the training? What has happened is that, and mostly affects your bodyguards and a number of other places, is that sometimes you come and lobby and say, I've stayed with this bodyguard for many years, which is right, because you are making a case for the person who's working with you. And then you say, let's promote them. Then when we tell you, we are promoting, but they go for training, you say, can they get by merit? So one day, you are no longer a senator or a governor or an MP. Then they have a rank of at a level of inspector or chief inspector. They are supposed to go and run a police station, but they have no experience on anything. They have not been trained on anything on how to run a police station. So they cannot even be an officer commanding any station, because they have just been helping you and supporting you as a government officer. So again, the decision, the report indicated that there should be a rank within which a person cannot be promoted without going to training. And starting with the members, the ones who are promoted recently, a good number of them were even those promoted in merit, because merit is allowed. Even those promoted in merit were told, yes, you are promoted in merit, but you must go for training, because now you are progressing to a certain rank. But in terms of what Senator Mofaya raised, a policy must be in place, either be infused in the standing orders or a standalone policy on promotions and transfers, like I mentioned in my opening statement. I am not aware of specific cases, as Senator Mandago raised, where someone has been promoted in 6 months beyond 2 ranks. I am not very much aware about that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let's go to the next question, Senator Sifuna.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The next question is from friends of mine in Kibra, the Nubian community, and across the country. Could the Cabinet Secretary confirm whether there are any plans to issue a citizenship code recognizing the Nubian community as a Kenyan ethnic community, and indicate the expected timelines for such issuance? And secondly, Why do members of the Nubian community continue to face barriers in acquiring national identification documents? And what measures is the ministry taking to bring an end to this discrimination? Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary outline the measures the government is taking to expedite reparations to the Nubian community for historical land injustices occasioned by that lack of recognition? Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Waziri.
Mr. Speaker, the government, through the Directorate of National Registration Bureau, assigns unique ethnic identification codes to Kenyan communities. These codes enable individuals to declare their ethnicity when registered for national identity documents as required under Section 5(1)(d) of the Registration of Persons Act. The recognition and coding of ethnic communities is a continuous and progressive process. At the inception of the manual first-generation national identity card system in 1978, individuals declared their ethnicity on registration forms. This information was recorded in the manual register but did not appear on the physical ID card. In 1995, with the introduction of the second-generation ID and the automated Kenya identity management system, it became necessary to create specific ethnic codes to capture the ethnic data electronically. Each ethnic community was assigned a unique code, while a generic code, other Kenyans, was provided for individuals whose communities were not yet listed among ethnic groups in the system. The Nubian community was initially registered the lack of communal code. Over time, the ministry has progressively reviewed and updated ethnic codes for additional communities, including sub-tribes that have asserted distinct ethnic identities separate from larger linguistic or cultural groups. As part of this ongoing progress, the Nubian community was officially assigned a distinct ethnic code, code number 50 in 2022, thereby recognized them as a Kenyan ethnic community within the national registration framework. On part 2, Mr. Speaker, I am not aware of that member of Nubian community. I am not aware that members of Nubian community continue to face barriers in acquiring national identification documents. Indeed, His Excellency the President on 5th February 2025 directed the discontinuation of additional vetting requirements that had been applied during the registration and issuance of national identity documents to certain communities and individuals residing in specific regions of the country. The Nubian community was among the groups positively affected by this directive. Prior to this presidential directive, members of the Nubian community were subjected to a special vetting process that had been developed in consultation between the ministry and the Nubian community elders. This vetting mechanism required attestation of ID applicants by Nubian elders. The purpose of this arrangement was to help distinguish between Kenyan Nubians whose forebearers settled in the country before independence and migrant Nubians who continued to migrate to Kenya. Following the directive of His Excellency the President, this community-based vetting process was officially discontinued, and the Nubian community is now fully integrated into the standard national registration framework. Currently, the registration and issuance of national identification documents across the country, including the members of Nubian community, is conducted under the new uniform mechanism launched by the President to streamline and standardize the process nationwide. Under this mechanism, the identity of an applicant is authenticated by the present or guardian biological relatives through the embossing of the left thumbprint on the registration form. This is further validated by the thumbprint of the chief or assistant chief, ensuring local administration oversight. This standardized procedure applies uniformly in the registration, thereby ensuring equality, fairness, and the elimination of any form of discrimination in access to national identification documents. Honorable Speaker, members of the Nubian community have been registered and issued with national identification documents since the introduction of the first generation ID in 1978. While it is true that the Nubian community was initially categorized under the generic ethnic code Other Kenyans, Code 81, this did not in any way prevent members of the community from acquiring identification documents. Furthermore, the subsequent assignment of Code number 50 has reaffirmed their status as a duly recognized Kenyan ethnic community. With regard to the vetting process that was previously applied to members of the Nubian community, it is important to clarify that the vetting was not unique to the Nubian community. It was also applied to residents of all border counties and to communities living both in Kenya and in across the country's porous international borders. The purpose of this process was not to discriminate. Rather, it was an identity verification mechanism designed to ensure that national identification documents were issued exclusively to bona fide Kenyan citizens. It is with the sovereign responsibility of any state to institute appropriate measures to differentiate its citizens from non-citizens, particularly with regard to cross-border movement and settlement patterns. Given these facts, it could therefore not be accurate to claim that members of the Nubian community have been denied recognition as Kenyan citizens. The government has taken deliberate measures, including the abolition of the extra vetting requirements and the standardization of national registration process to ensure that all citizens, including the Nubian community, enjoy equal treatment and access to identification and citizenship services. Mr. Speaker, the government remains fully committed to promoting inclusion, equity, and fairness for all communities in Kenya. Through ongoing reforms in national registration and identity management process, the ministry continues to work collaboratively with relevant agencies to address and prevent any form of perceived historical marginalization. I thank you.
In Nairobi. Yes, they're in Nairobi, most of them are in Nairobi. So, if the CS and given the response, I want the senator when there's the question, at least to be affirming to us that whether he's satisfied or she's satisfied, whether he has a supplementary question, so that we avoid the repeat, the way the CS is reading the whole response from A to Z. So, Senator Sifuna, let me hear from you, whether you are satisfied with the response or you have a supplementary question.
Speaker, I read this response and I was not satisfied, but I started first by correcting you that the Nubian community is spread all across the country. And in fact, part of the question was the discrimination in identity cards issuance. We were told that vetting had been removed, but in Kisii County, the reports are that they are still going through that vetting. Now, Speaker, the communication that I received from the CS is unsatisfactory for the following reasons. First of all, Honorable Speaker, it is not clear whether there is a formal recognition through something like a gazette notice or a communication. You see the response that he has given has no annexures at all. In 2016, when we were recognizing the Makonde community, Honorable Speaker, there was a full ceremony. There was a full ceremony. So what the Nubian community is saying, if you have issued a code, you have done it silently, do we have any document? Is it going to be gazetted? Is there going to be a formal ceremony? Does the issuance of a code now recognize them as the 50th community in Kenya? Those are the reasons why we are saying, Honorable Speaker, this is not a satisfactory response. Let him add those specific details. And lastly, on the question of land, there was a court ruling in 2015 that required the restitution of the remaining 3,000 acres of land or appropriate reparations to the community to be done. The CS has not addressed himself to that question of land restitution. So let him provide those two clarifications. Will we see a gazette notice? Will there be a formal response? Is there any formal document saying that they have now been recognized, or is just the word of mouth of the CS constitute them as the 50th community in the country? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Any other member with a supplementary question on this particular one? Senator Manzo.
Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary indicate, the order followed to recognize communities, Mr. Speaker, because it's been happening once in a while after a community has come out strongly fighting. Could he explain whether they have a program so that we could know other than the Nubian community, which other community is likely to be gazetted as a community? Because you have still unrecognized communities in Kenya. And how many are there in total? Those ones which have been recognized and those are yet to be recognized. Because it's been happening slowly by slowly, Mr. Speaker, from the Shona community, different communities. Once in a while, they get recognized, the ones settled in Kenya, Mr. Speaker.
Do you know one that has not been recognized? We start from there. Which one?
Mr. Speaker, what happens is that we have quite a number from Makonde. Yes, I want to be informed, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mohamed Faki.
Ni kweli masuala ya makabila kutambuliwa ni jambo ambalo liko hadhir, na kule kwetu pwani kuna kabila ya Wangazija ambao Wangazija originally they are from the Comoros, but they have settled here for many years, and I brought a statement in the course of this year. I don't know whether Senator Chute had worked on that, but Wangazija, Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni baadhi ya makabila ambayo hayajatambuliwa katika
Senator Faki, you cannot be changing languages the way you want, you know. You just stick to one language.
Samahani Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Swahili, please stick to
Samahani Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni kwamba Wangazija, kabila la Wangazija ni katika makabila ya Waswahili. Ni moja ya yale ambayo hayajatambuliwa katika jamhuri yetu ya Kenya. Na majuzi nileta taarifa hapa katika bunge letu, na nafikiri kamati ya uwiano na Umoja wa Taifa inashughulikia swala hilo. Asante.
Senator Mboni.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, I was the one on the floor. Mr. Speaker, that's a tribe I was forgetting, but I'm aware there are quite a number. I'm sure Honorable Murkomen knows.
And got the question, yes, the question.
Yes, so that he can tell us how many more from Wangazija, how many more?
Senator Mboni.
Mr. Speaker, we must collectively congratulate the government for the decision to make it easier for the Somali community and other border communities to move away from being discriminated. But Mr. Speaker, this is the time